Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. Today, we're going to be looking at a piece by the artist Samuel Hipponen. An artist is actually working primarily in the medium of digital rendering. In this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about center contrast. We're going to talk about the origins of meditation, and then we're also going to talk about the divine elements of nature. So let's jump right into it. So, whenever you first see this piece, we see either a small subject or a statue really deep in the act of meditation, and it's actually inescapable the amount of kind of flood of nature within this work. And there's almost this sense of disconnected radial symmetry because it implies that there's this kind of opening around here, and this cliffside almost revolves around the subject there. So I think that's pretty interesting to note. And you see the amount of color within this work that really introduces very natural visual experience. Of course, an incredible amount of green, and it's really inescapable, as I said before. So we see the spatial composition is split into about three main areas, and this really, of course, the title of the work is Hidden River. So we have this river that kind of appears to open up like that. And so due to this, we see the spatial composition is split into about three main lanes. And so that would be the cliffside as the defining bumpers there, and our subject is also within that center region as well. So I think that's also really important to note, and it kind of divides the spatial composition. There's also this unique sense of near symmetry here. Of course, you see, the cliffs on either side and the brush on either side. It's not perfectly symmetrical, but it definitely is near symmetry within the work. That really provides a very natural, orderly, and balanced visual experience in that final result for the viewer. So I think that's also really interesting to note. And so, our subject is either, like I said, it's either a statue or a person, and it's hard to say, but the subject is really deep in the act of meditation. And there's also, here, let me remove our paintings so we can show you what I mean. We see our subject elevated primarily through a dark on light contrast. There's this opening here just perfectly so you can see the silhouette of the main subject. And there's also, of course, the reflection here. You see the reflection of that opening, of course, creates this kind of light bumper here, and then there's a dark on light contrast as well. So that dark on light contrast really reaches on either side, and I think that's also really important to note. And so we see just, of course, an incredibly natural visual experience here, and it almost feels like we're right there in the scene. Very immersive as the result, and just the incredible quantity of brush and trees within this work. That really, it feels very calming, and if you're someone who loves nature, there's no doubt that you're going to love this piece because it's inescapable. We're kind of almost hovering above the river alongside this lone subject here, so I think that's also really important to note. We see the sheer amount of scale within this work, and that's really important because we can almost draw a connection or a metaphor from the lone individual to, say, the ecosystem or the global ecosystem. And because of that, there's this unique contrast of the small versus the very large. And it's really important because we can't damage nature without damaging ourselves. So even though the ecosystem is very large, we are a part of that in every single way. So it's really, really important to remember. And so we also see, of course, our subject is deep in the act of meditation. And meditation originated a very long time ago. Meditation is much more complex than people think in some ways, and then in others, not so much. Some people think that, you have to close your eyes and just think no thoughts or something like that. And that's a very watered down version of a certain type of meditation. But a lot of people, kind of have a lot of misconceptions because meditation, it originated in a wide variety of practices, whether it's mindfulness meditation, whether it's kind of contemplation or concentration, whether it's kind of healing, or whether it's mixed with different poses for, say, something like yoga. So all of those are really important, and those all have that really root in meditation. That came from I believe ancient India a very long time ago, and it should be treated with the utmost respect because it's kind of like resting while you're awake. So that's really interesting to know. Meditation is incredibly, incredibly important, especially if you're someone who has a lot of anxiety, because it allows you to slow down and kind of rest while you're awake. So meditation is really priceless in that kind of setting. So just imagine how tranquil this visual experience would be if you're meditating on a small platform here in the midst of just all of these trees. kind of closing your eyes, you're following your breath, you're clearing your thoughts, and just imagine how tranquil and calm that would be. So this is a really tranquil, really calm, and very relaxing visual experience. And it also has some really unique historic influences with meditation. So I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to go check out some of his other pieces as well. The original artist, Samuel, I believe it's Samuel, oh, it's escaping me. Oh no. Samuel Hipponen, there we go. So we're going to check out some of his pieces, and he has a lot of inspirations from the natural realm. So we're going to take a look at that real quick. All right, so taking a look at Samuel Hipponen's profile here, you see a lot of natural things. Of course, he is an Estonian 3D environment artist, so even calls himself an environment artist. He really likes those kind of landscape environmental scenes. Of course, we see the piece that we just showcased there up there as well, and like I said, just a bunch of natural scenes. We see a little bit of ruins here. A little bit of tropical influences, some divine influences there, what appears to be a dragon, not 100% sure. But just scrolling through here, you see exactly what I mean by such a natural aesthetic. And these are 3D renderings, so it's clear he puts a lot of care into these, and he really sets up the perspective to have the utmost impact on the viewer. So I thought that was really important to note. There's also these elements of magic within the work as well. And even looking at that piece that we just showcased, he respects meditation clearly and mindfulness. He respects nature incredibly as well. Then he also kind of really respects these fantasy elements or these magical elements of fantasy and divine nature. So I think those were also all really important, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. We talked a little bit about center emphasis, talked about divine nature, and also the priceless placement of meditation. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Go check out Samuel Hipponen's other works. He does a bunch of different stuff. We just took a look at it there. Really natural works, digital rendering artist as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.